You're welcome to the Pioneer STEM Show, where we celebrate bold thinkers, breakthrough ideas, and brilliant minds shaping the future of STEM across Africa. My name is Choma Omolaye, and with me as always is...
Your favorite tech enthusiast, Oluwatobi Olakwo. From code to class, labs to launchpad, we are here to share stories which inspire, challenges, and empower next generation of innovators.
And if you want to be a guest on the Pioneer STEM Show, you know just what to do. Just buzz us on any of our social media handles as seen on the screen below. And don't forget to follow, subscribe, and like.
So, if you're a student, STEM lover, or just curious about what technology that transforms the world, you're in the right place. Joining us today is someone who leads in the intersection of innovation, education, and impact, Mrs. Rahmat Lasisi. Stay tuned as we get inspired by her shortly.
Stay with us and learn. Welcome back to the Pioneer STEM Show, and like we promised, we have our guest already. Her name is Rahmat Lasisi. Thank you so much for making our time in such a short time notice to be with us. I really do appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
How are you doing, ma'am?
Very well, thank you.
Okay, so very well, thank you. And so in a short while, we'll be reading out your profile. So sit down, relax as I read out her profile. Rahmat Lasisi is a dynamic technology leader driving digital innovation across Africa. She helps organizations automate processes, build custom tech solutions, and develop future-ready teams. As an associate manager at Veraki, she leads strategic transformation projects and oversees 12 communities of practice focused on excellence in areas like AI, cybersecurity, and automation. She's also the founder of Brain Branded Tech, an online learning platform through which she has trained over 100 children and teachers in coding, AI, and emerging tech skills. Her work empowers not just students, but also educators with the digital tools and knowledge they need to thrive in today's world. A passionate advocate for inclusive technology, Rahmat actively mentors youth and women in STEM and has been recognized for her leadership by CIO and C-Suite Africa. Rahmat brings energy, purpose, and vision to every space she enters, bridging technology with impact across education, enterprise, and community. Ha ha ha. Did I leave anything?
You covered everything.
Everything, okay. But you know we're going to go in deeper. So that's very impressive. So tell us about your journey as a woman in this field.
Thank you, Chairman, for having me.
You're welcome.
So my journey started quite early, at the age of 19. So I would say I was more like born into tech.
Whoa.
So
lucky you. Some of us are migrants. Yeah.
So I have a curious mind.
Yeah.
I have a sister who every day brings in, creative design. So I've always wondered, how is this done? And then sometimes she just, play around it and say, okay, you don't need. I was way more younger then.
Yeah.
But that was actually, it was the curiosity of how are this done. That was actually how I found myself in tech. But I didn't start off being a software developer and the likes.
Yeah.
It was more being a Microsoft Office specialist,
okay.
racing to type a number of words in minutes.
Ooh, yeah. That's one of the activities we do on the Pioneer STEM Show,
nice.
Speed typing for especially the young ones.
Wow.
Awesome. Oh, so you use things like Mavis Beacon.
Mavis Beacon was, was top notch. There was a buzzword then, so I used stuff like that, and then racing, earning certification like Microsoft Office specialist back then, and then I was specialized in using Microsoft Access, using it for data manipulation, data analytics and stuff like that back then. So that was my journey into technology.
And so how has your educational, so in terms of both secondary and even university, how has it helped to shape you into this field? So,
okay, Well, I would say the curiosity mindset had been with me all along.
Yes, please.
But of course, primary school, it's not as if we're exposed to technology per se, but it was outside secondary school that I actually, and then when I went for computer studies, that was actually what led me into knowing about technology.
Computer studies in a tertiary institution?
Yes, tertiary
okay.
institution.
Oh, so you majored in something around computer then.
Yes.
Oh, that's really awesome. So how do you put it together? Because I'm sure, I mean, it's like you're singing a song to some people now. Where you are now is still some women or even men where they wish to be, right? So please, how did you put it all together?
Okay.
How?
Yeah.
In you know what I'm talking about.
Exactly.
How?
Absolutely.
Just tell us how.
So it all began to make sense.
Yeah.
Right after while I was in university.
Okay.
And then it happened that while in university, I was also working.
Awesome.
Yes, I was a software developer at that time.
So
I've already migrated from the fun part of typing and all of that into building, and then I joined open source community,
awesome.
the likes of Ubuntu, the likes of Linux, pretty much. Writing code using PHP. So I joined open source community. And then in open source community, you're free to learn, you're free to, it's a community that builds you. You learn with your peers. You just want you to shine or even outshine them. So that was a safe place to actually start. So when I started off from there, I moved gradually into, in fact, I didn't even start off with coding. It was more of, like I said, system engineering, fixing system, making my computer robust, Windows server, Linux server, and all of that. Then I gradually now moved from the engineering bit to software.
Awesome.
Precisely 2008. Whoa, that was when I actually started coding.
Wow, that is so interesting. And so could you tell us more about your first gig? Because you said you were working, and so how was it like?
It was
challenging.
It was
did
challenging.
You know everything, or did you have to consult people?
Okay, it was challenging, and then it was fun at the same time because one thing about me is I'm curious. I just want to see how things are done. Yes. So it was a lot of challenge. My first gig, if I just want to quickly navigate there, it was more of was through my friend in school back then. So she came, she shared to me, Rahmat, someone needs to build a background checking solution. So it's all about what the problem statement is. So as long as you are rooted in solving problem, so it's easier to analyze the problem, build it, and then you have a solution. And I was able to build that solution. That was actually my first gig. I was able to build the solution for the company, and it lasted for a while they were using, they used the application essentially to onboard new entrants to the company. They were using it to do some background checks, their profile, their credentials, and all of that.
And you built that?
Yeah, I built that. I built that, and so I was very proud of myself.
I hope they are watching, and I hope they can still remember. So would you tell us one of your proudest, or 2 or 3 of your proudest moments so far in your career journey? Okay, so
I think I would share 2.
Okay, that's fine.
One of my proudest moments was while I was a CTO, and then the team.
CTO, you mean Chief Technology Officer at where exactly?
At a fintech company, Economy.
Okay. Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
I was a CTO at that company.
Awesome.
So what we were, the task before us was basically to hire, newbies or team members who have it up there. Perhaps they've not even, in fact, the team I had not even published an app on App Store or publish on the Play Store. So it was seeing them growing from that level of how does it work, and then knowing fully well that okay, Rahmat, you ginger these guys, you motivate them, you let them believe in themselves. That confidence, seeing them having that confidence, launching the app, and then when we now they have started, having accumulated, having users.
Ooh,
and then when we are going home, I'm driving and they are beside, and they will say, oh, Rahmat, we now have, 10,000 downloads. We now have 20,000 users. They'll just, I'm always proud when they say, thank you for believing in me. Thank you for trusting me. So they are one of my proudest moments.
So that's one that you mentioned.
Then,
any other one?
Yeah. Then the second one would be, when you do I'm naturally inspired. Or I'm a natural collaborator. I just want the best for anyone around me. Woo! So when I now see being recognized by the CIO and C-Suite Africa saying, oh, Rahmat, well done. Thank you for taking this lead. Thank you for believing in our mission. Thank you for being part of this project team. Awesome. It got done on me like, oh wow, I'm being recognized for what I do.
A lot. And I want to dig deeper, if you don't mind, a little bit privately. People around you, your sphere, aside colleague, how this whole migration and you being, because I'm sure you're more serious than, like your social butterfly. So how have they been able to deal with it? And how have you been able to deal with them to deal with it? Yeah.
So I would say it's all about intentionality.
Yep.
Right? Being intentional about what you're doing.
That's right.
And letting the people around you also believe in you. Believe in what you're doing. Sometimes it takes a lot to prove your worth.
Especially as a woman.
Yeah, and especially as a woman. So you have to double the efforts. And then when they see the results, and then they see the impact, they don't have a choice. They just accept you. And then they believe that, yes, Rahmat has a seat at the table. Rahmat's voice needs to be heard. This is who she is.
And it's being heard right now. All over the country.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. We'll be right back. Just please still stay with us. We'll go on a short break. And when we return, we still have our gorgeous, very intelligent guest, Rahmat Lasisi. Stay with us and learn.
Welcome back to the Pioneer STEM Show, and we're still with our amiable tech consultant, Mrs. Rahmat Lasisi. Welcome back, Ma.
Thank you so much for
having me. Going on, you spoke about being in the tech space. And tech is usually male-dominated. How have you navigated that?
In a male-dominated environment, in the space where I have chosen, it's never, I don't want to use the word easy, but it's very doable. It all starts with being intentional and being who you are, being yourself, and knowing fully well in your capability. Of course, there are times where competencies are doubted, like, oh, a woman, can she do it? But of course, I've been an ex-CTO. I was a CTO for a fintech company. And while on that role, in the first few months of that, being on that role, I was given a recognition of an MVP personnel. Most valuable person recognition. So it's that kind of award or that kind of recognition lets me know that, yes, I am doing the right thing, regardless of the fact that this is a male-dominated environment. So what I would say is just being real, being myself, and putting in the effort daily, being driven by the purpose of why I'm here and not just ignoring the noise and then being focused.
Ignoring the noise, that's a key aspect of it. Do you have any mentors?
Of course,
okay.
I do have mentors.
Okay.
And I have mentors who help to shape me, to shape my career. Even where I work, Veraki, we have, Veraki leadership has mentors, more like counselors. So they help to shape you in the right track. But before joining Veraki, I've had mentors, even within my peers, learning with my peers, or having mentors afar. You have someone that you just admire, you appreciate what they're doing, you're just inspired about how they do what they do. You could just learn from what they do, or just, approach them, or be guided by how they do and stuff. So, but it's always good to have a structured mentorship. So in responding to having a mentor, I do have and I appreciate all of that.
So can you mention a particular role that is significant that any of these mentors have helped in your pursuit of in STEM?
Great. My mentors have helped me to have more confidence in myself. They've shaped me to also recognize my mistakes, because I take feedback. No matter the feedback, I think I have that natural ability to listen. Right. So I listen, take feedback, no matter how ugly it is, and then I use it, I apply it to what makes me better.
Okay.
So yeah.
So on feedbacks, there are constructive criticism and critical criticism and just outright looking down on you. How do you differentiate that?
Okay, of course, they are very different.
Yeah.
So I will just share with the scenario. I've been on a call where, a virtual call where we're resolving an issue or just a stand-up call, so to speak. And then one of the team member, just shout me down because I was asking about, oh, when are you going to deliver this? So it's all about the way you take the feedback or the way you respond to an action. So what did I do? I kept quiet, but I asked, was he actually talking to me? But he couldn't repeat it. And then the rest of the team members said, oh, you need to apologize to Rahmat. So I think it's just as simple as, knowing fully well that the way anyone addresses you, it's not about you, it's just about them. Yeah. And then you know how to handle it, intelligently.
Thank you for that. You've led enterprise level digital transformation and grassroots tech education.
That's right.
What drives your passion in combining these different worlds?
Purpose. Purpose drive my passion. I also have children. I couldn't stand it where you know more, and then the next person beside you have no idea of what is going on, or how they can simplify their lives with technology, or how just not knowing little things that can make a lot of things better. So because I have passion in bringing out the best in people, so that is actually what drives it, and I can move on from zero to any level you take me on to, as long as it's all about bringing out the best in people.
So in as much as purpose drives you, which is great, has there been any point where you have to choose between impact and monetary value?
Those two options have not presented themselves side by side, but what I will usually go for, regardless, I'm always driven by impacts. So even if monetary value is coming on and then the impact I'm going to drive is for a larger audience, I think my natural Rahmat would tend towards that.
Okay. You mentioned you work at Veracay.
Yes.
And you oversee like 12 communities thereabout?
Yeah.
What's your approach to building a future-ready community?
Okay. Thank you for that question. Working with people and building people is actually a tall order. It's a tall order because you have different people with different background, you have different people with different mindsets. But I would say planting the end in mind of people, it's what still brings people to still come towards that goal. Planting the end in mind that this is the goal, this is why we are here. It sort of helps people to believe in the mission, to believe in the objectives, to believe in the goal that, yeah, this is why we are here, this is why we are building the community. So that's how I have always done this. While I was building a team for tech product or building or having different communities at Veracay, it's all about ensuring that, yes, the aim of this is to put us out there, is to build more talent, is to solve this XYZ solution. So essentially that has been the driver, and that has been magical in getting people or winning people towards the side of, yeah, this is the goal that connects us.
So that's great. In as much as you're a collaborator and you like bringing people along, there will always be people that slow you down. How do you manage that?
Wow. So yes, and I think I will respond with that with a typical scenario. So in the time of my leading project and all, so there's a particular team member who just wishes to be in creativity, but is not seeing how we want the product to be designed, the way we want it to be designed. So, and of course, it's slowing the pace down. So, and I do not want this particular person to feel maybe you do not belong. Of course, carry everyone along and all. So what I now have done is just to double the effort of letting him see why and letting him understand that if he doesn't see it this particular way, this is the result that we'll be getting. Then exposes him to what would make him to see it in that particular way. So i.e. exposing him into designs of what is acceptable, as opposed to what his efforts are. Like, okay, this is what I can do, this is better, I can go. Or no, your best is not good enough if it's not looking this way. Of course, it was still a work in progress, but gradually was able to see, and I was making him to understand that, okay, this is, if you continue this way, this will be the result. I might have to get, a substitute or hire a contract person to work on this particular role. And I don't think you want that. So gradually, I was able to let him see the consequence or the results if he continues this particular way. It's all about communication. Communication is key. And I'm glad that this particular person was able to see that as well, was able to align with my perspective as opposed, feeling otherwise. So that's what has happened in, trying to win someone's, slowing down in my own scenario.
There's a typical misconception, and not just in tech world, generally speaking, that female bosses are tough to deal with. What is your thoughts to that?
Well, as a woman, you have to let your voice be firm, because sometimes when you are, maybe you take, for lack of a better word, I don't know if it's okay, but when you just take anything anyhow, you might be taken advantage of. But I do not believe in there's a difference between being firm or being strict and not being, or being kind and not being, or not being nice. I'm just trying to be careful with my choice of words, so that's why I'm trying to play safe that way. But what works for me is, and what I believe is, as a woman, you should just be firm. Know when it is time to, to wind down, and when it is time to play. That this is show time, we just need to get this done. So you have to be able to differentiate the play Rahmat from the boss Rahmat. So I think that really works. Just being able to still bring people along, carry everyone along, let us work together. When we need to, laugh and chat and do some stuff, of course we can. And then when it is show time, we take it. But I believe in not being tough, but being fair.
Let's talk about brainbranded.cake. What inspired you to start it?
My inspiration has always been drawn from purpose. It's more of not being comfortable with the fact that you see folks around you, or you are privileged to just watch a clip and you realize how, people are not able to solve some simple tasks with technology.
Okay.
Be that they are not aware, or be that, if they have the opportunity, they can really do better. So it's more like an empowerment platform where I teach kids. Oftentimes I was able to tag along with some ladies they usually go to the correctional center. And then they said, okay, Rahmat, why don't you tag along with us, and then encourage the girls at the correctional center, and then, bring out the best in them. So stuff like that. It's what has motivated me. And then it just basically start from, a weekend where I was just like, I organized a free class for kids, came around to my house, and then I was inspired, and then it became a big thing.
Okay. How can more Africans, especially girls, step into leadership roles in STEM?
Girls can step into leadership role in STEM by starting from where they are. There is a saying that sometimes what you don't have, right, perhaps you don't need it to start. So you can start small. Perhaps I would say, I don't know if it's safe to say maybe fortunate or not, but I also started small. I started from just being curious. So you can start from anywhere you are. So girls basically can start with that fact that, yes, I like what innovation is about. I love what maybe they are inspired by someone doing some amazing things in the tech space or in the STEM space, so to speak. You can just start by, if it is access that, whatever you have accessible to you, even if when you don't have a computer, just start by being seen. You would get a computer. Start by now looking out for opportunity where you can get that computer. Start from there. You can, you can just get what you need.
Thank you very much for that. You heard it from Ms. Rahmat. Start small, start with interest. As little as that is very powerful. Thank you for your time today, Ma. It was lovely having you so far.
Thank you so
Stay
much.
tuned while we get back to the show.
Welcome back to the Pioneer STEM Show, and I hope you were intrigued and you learned a lot from our woman in tech guest today. Rahmat Lasisi. I did.
Yeah, I did also. It was great. It was really great sitting down with her with insights on how she navigates her workspace, working with team members was really insightful for me.
Absolutely. I mean, for me, aside from being a woman in tech, I love the fact that she's even a technical person herself. I loved her journey, how I won't even call it transition, how she started with a curious mindset and how she finally made a way for herself, in that space with mentors and communities like Women Tech Makers and what have you. So, like she said, start from where you are, right?
Yes, that's it.
Start whether you're a low income or you're a middle income, just start from where you are. And if you're just joining us, you have missed quite a lot. You might have to head up to our social media handles or our website to watch a replay of today's episode. So it's a time where we call it a day on the
Yes,
Pioneer STEM show. Is it a long day?
a long, long day.
And so see you again when we return, same time, same station next week.
Bye for now.
Bye.